So if you guys missed it at the end of last week, you will not realize that I've actually managed to get myself an Inferno cape. However, since receiving the cape, I have felt like a little lost puppy in the sense of what to do in the game. Now, I should be working towards the Godsword set from scratch, but to be honest with you, comparing the Inferno and going from defeating such challenging endgame content, it's quite difficult to just go back to being able to kill Saradomin with the Twisted Bow and just running around the room repeatedly. I think it's fair to say at this point, I haven't quite had enough of the Infernal. Even though I managed to get myself the cape, I still felt like I still had more to give in the sense of this place. My main motivation behind actually killing this again is for the challenge. I enjoy how difficult this is. To me, this is the ultimate endgame content, something which we haven't seen the likes of in old school RuneScape before, which is debatable because obviously you could debate and say raids, corporal beast, and so on, but everything has a tactic, and this is something which as of yet people haven't quite managed to grasp. The thing that I love about the Inferno so much is even though I've already managed to defeat this boss, every time I've managed to get to it again has been a completely different experience. I have been trying out and testing out new gears every time that I've done it. As you can see right now, this was like a full DPS build that I went with, which I quite liked. I feel like there's definitely pros and cons for that. But regardless, every single time I've managed to get to the boss, it has been a challenge, regardless of how many times I've got there. Bearing in mind that I've only managed to actually get one cape, I can honestly say every time I manage to get this boss, there are no certainties, and it is just as easy as stepping in the wrong place to fail and have to repeat the entire hour-and-a-half process. This is a prime example of how difficult the Inferno could be, even with the amount of experience and also the amount of supplies I had going into the boss. I simply couldn't hit, which is kind of ironic really, seeing as how I was in the most DPS gear I could have. Obviously I could have swapped the Eternal Boots out for Pegasians. Count the amount of zeros I hit on this boss. This really did annoy me because I just couldn't kill the boss, and by the time the Major and Ranger had spawned for the third time, it was game over. Now, something that I've noticed within our community with the release of the Inferno is that there actually aren't very many people that are even attempting to get the cape. And I think the main reason for that is that nobody's released a proper guide yet on how to defeat the Inferno. Now, by no means do I feel as if I am able to make a guide which is that in-depth that I would like to classify it as a guide, but I could certainly release a video which is tips and advice which are very useful for being able to accomplish killing the Inferno. If that sounds like something that you guys would like to see, please let me know down in the comments. If you guys don't want to see it, it's absolutely not a problem. But obviously, if there are some of you which would like some advice on getting to the Inferno and having your best chance of actually defeating it, then feel free to let me know. Oh mate, are you joking? I'm garbage! Oh my god, man. Wow. I'm terrible. Now, as I said before, I will soon be getting back to the Godsword set from scratch. I now have the Inferno bug completely out of my system. I think it was just a phase, and I've done enough of it now to be at the point where I'm happy with the amount that I've accomplished. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoy this attempt at the Infernal cape. Make sure you watch until the end to see what actually happens. Enjoy. Yeah, there you go, boys. Oh, Jesus Christ. Second Infernal Cape. Was that better than personal best? No! 8 minutes longer than my last one, but the second cape acquired. Oh god, I'm so happy to have a placeholder now. I've just came to my bank and I noticed that it said my bank's worth 11 bill, and I'm thinking, what on earth? Why is my bank 11 bill? Apparently there's something in this tab worth 11 bill. Apparently these feathers sell for $1 bill each. What the fuck is going on? Oh my god, like, why are these things so much? Oh my god, somebody must have sold a feather for $1 bill. Somebody must have. That's because the OS Buddy guide price goes by the Grand Exchange. What the fuck? But anyways, guys, as you can see, we do now have 2 Infernal Capes. I'm so fucking happy with that. You guys don't even understand. Let's have a look at them side by side. Look at those beauties. 2 Infernal Capes. Very nice. You might be wondering why did I even bother going for a second Infernal Cape? And honestly, the easiest way to explain that is I simply love the Infernal. After I got my first cape, I felt like a little lost puppy, honestly, because what else is there comparable to the Inferno? So it basically boils down to me really enjoying the Inferno. I love the challenge of it. Even though I've got 1 and now 2 capes, I will still sure as hell get an adrenaline rush every single time I manage to make it to the boss. But my god, just look at them side by side. Oh, I'm so happy right now. Unfortunately, we didn't get a pet, and I'm not going to be gambling either of these fire capes. Although I may, if I get an Infernal Cape in the future, I may gamble it. We'll see. In case you guys were wondering what gear I actually used for the Inferno on this run, I decided I'd go with something slightly different. I took the Amulet of Fury instead of taking the Necklace of Anguish and also the Occult Necklace, meaning that I could take an extra Super Restore, and this is exactly how my inventory setup looked. 9 brews, more than enough to be able to get the triple Jads. When I got to triple Jads, I believe I had 6. So having that 1 extra brew is quite nice to have indeed. And also, because I didn't take the necklace switch, I could also take an extra restore, which made up for the extra brew. And to be honest with you, I think this gear, if you could replace this with the Elysian, this is probably the most solid and simplistic gear that you can use. I personally prefer the Arcane just for the magic accuracy. As you can see, I've got 127. I believe it's 131 with the Virex Helm removed, meaning that I very rarely splash on the Nibblers, and if I do, they usually die on the second barrage. With that being said, guys, there will be one more release on the Inferno, which I will be uploading tomorrow, which is hopefully going to be an in-depth look at the lore on the Inferno, which is quite fascinating. With that being said, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Make sure if you do, you leave it a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you very soon.